You found your way to the podcast for Merge, the blog about design and entrepreneurship. I'm Doug Powell, curator of Merge, and in this post, Dawn Hancock and Antonio Garcia of Firebelly Design from Chicago. I first became familiar with Firebelly a couple of years ago when Antonio and I were classmates at the AIGA Harvard Business School program in 2007. I must admit I was a bit skeptical of the Firebelly proposition, which, as they state it, is to create positive world change, connecting authentic companies with real people in socially responsible ways. That's a tall order, and one that's really hard to deliver on, especially in a tough economy and with other business challenges. But since then, I've been consistently impressed with how Firebelly lives into that promise. Not only with outstanding creative work, but with a truly innovative business model. In addition to their conventional client work, Firebelly operates Camp Firebelly, a 10-day summer immersion for design students, and Reason to Give, a microfinancing operation benefiting the Humboldt neighborhood in Chicago, where the Firebelly studio is located. The Firebelly Foundation is a 501c3 that awards a grant every year to a nonprofit of 1 year's worth of design work. In part one of our conversation, Dawn and Antonio told me about Camp Firebelly.
One of the things that we had talked about while we were there that we came up with was the idea of we get all these resumes all the time from all these awesome students from around the country, and yet, we can only have so much going on. So how do we help more than just one person at a time? And then we also have nonprofits everywhere looking to do work, and majority of them aren't financially capable of paying a large studio. So we do have a grant for that where we give a year's work away for free. But because we can't give everybody everything, we figured we'd come up with some idea. And I think it was Katie's idea, if I remember correctly. Katie was a designer here, and the idea was why don't we come up with Camp Firebelly, or this thing where we can work with students and we get a nonprofit and then we pair them together and we don't do any work, we make them do all the work, which is takes off the pressure off of us, I suppose. But we work with them for an extended period of time. 10 days is what our camp runs. A really intense experience, like a really intensive internship. 10 days from beginning to end. You meet with the client, and the last day you leave, you get the final printed piece in your hand. Here they go.
Wow. So how many students participate?
10. It's real small. And they sleep on the floor here. We cook for them. It's a very intimate experience. It's fun. This is the reason our office can be like it is. It's really convenient for that because we've got 2 bathrooms with showers and a nice kitchen and all that kind of stuff.
So it's a single client.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a single client for a portion of it. We bring other speakers in. There are other projects that they do, but it's the one client overall. Yeah.
So you guys select that client ahead of time?
We do, but we don't tell the students who it is. It's a surprise until the day they get here.
How easy or not has it been to find clients? I'm guessing you have to.
Well, it's not hard because our grant is kind of where they come through. We end up with a lot of grant applications. The way our grant works is every October we put out an application process. Any nonprofit within our requirements, which means they're usually have been around for a little while, have small staff. They're not a huge organization. They have to fit within $150,000 to $750,000 budget. So they have to fit within that, and we always get at least 30 or so applications,
really?
Something like that.
That's amazing.
I'm not surprised we don't get more, to be honest with you, but we can only pick one. So we end up with all these really cool organizations that we want to work with, and then we have to choose one, and it's really hard to pick one. And we end up. That was kind of how camp was we had 2 we really liked, but this one probably works a lot better for a really short little time project.
Yeah.
We could just pick one piece of their thing that they're asking for this year. We can do that for a camp project. Mm-hmm. This one, it's a much bigger scope thing, or whatever, that just happened to be last year's. This year was a different experience, but so that's how we kind of pick the people, sort of our runner-up to our grant.
So this year will be number what? How many years have you done this?
It's only 2nd year. We started it last summer. So.
And how did that go? I mean, was it?
Yeah, it blew us away. I mean, we everybody went into it stressed out. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you want to ask him. Don't ask me, I
I was
guess.
excited up until it started, and then I was stressed out a little bit.
Yeah, it's like this. Well, especially when you first do something, you don't know what to expect. We didn't know how many people were going to apply. We didn't know where they were going to come from. We didn't even know how we'd get the word out. I mean, we're not really. I don't know. People, look at our website and sign up to our newsletter, but I don't know who they are, and who knows if they're 35. And there had to be students or just 1 year out of school. So
Where did they come from? And where?
All over the country. It was really pretty cool. I mean, New York, Kansas, Nebraska,
A lot of Midwesterners.
Virginia, some Wisconsin. Only one person that we knew. And surprisingly, he was our former intern. And he had to pay to be part of it, so it was kind of cool. But
Yeah, we almost didn't take it.
Yeah,
just because he'd already done it. So.
He'd already been through it. Yeah.
So they walk away with obviously an intense experience, portfolio piece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a portfolio piece for sure. Something they worked on as a team, a group effort. It's not one. You're not getting something that you're doing yourself. I mean, you are eventually in the 10 days. There are a series of projects, and one of them is your own personal thing, or it happened to me last year. I'm not sure how it's going to go this year, but and that was completely led by another designer, Rick Valicenti. He completely, gave them a project day one. By the end of the time, they had to have it finished, and he came back and they all give presentations on their piece. So it was pretty fun. We had Mike Perry come in from New York. He's a designer, illustrator, and he did like a 2-day workshop with them on zines. And so that was like a 2-day thing where they got to work on that. They also did screen printing posters, which was for the client, the nonprofit. That was part of the project. So it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And, not knowing what you're going to get, especially when you have to feed people 3 times a day. And, to get into camp, by the way, they have to submit an application with a portfolio. It's not like it's first come, first served. We need to know that they're actually going to be able to pull us off in 10 days.
Right. Yeah, well, I imagine there's some, some anxiety around getting the right people in here so that, you're not at the end of, or day 9 of 10 and freaking out because you haven't gotten anything done.
I was shocked how well it went. I mean, it was really smooth. There were no egos, and
yeah, it was surprising. I mean, it went really well. It's hard. It's gonna be hard to top it.
And do you think the nonprofit would? I mean, have you asked them how satisfied they are?
Oh yeah, she loved it. Big soul experience. She was an amazing client from the start. I mean, they're like this bizarro Firebelly nonprofit. They're very similar to us in the way they work and what they do and their whole cause and all that. But they're a nonprofit that does video documentary projects on sort of fringe audiences, target audiences. She was the perfect client for that kind of experience because she could tell them exactly what she liked, what she didn't like, why. I mean, it was great. It was really great.
So how many applications do you get? Student applications do you get?
Well, last year I think we had like 15 or 18 or something like that. I'm expecting more this year only because I feel like there's a video and there's proof. We've got the students online now saying it's cool, come check it out, sort of thing. Where we didn't, it was all like guessing games.
It's a pretty compressed time frame, and I think that's got to be attractive to some people.
yeah,
Well, we certainly think about it as like if you're going to go to a design conference that costs, $500 plus your hotel plus whatever airfare, you end up spending a lot more than that. This includes all your food, all your transportation. I mean, it includes everything. Plus, we give 2 scholarships away. So if you really, really, really can't afford it, you can apply for the scholarship.
You're really, really awesome. But
yeah, exactly.
Find a way.
Right.
That's Dawn Hancock and Antonio Garcia of Firebelly Design in Chicago. In part 2 of our conversation, we'll talk more about the Firebelly Foundation and Reason to Give. Thanks for listening to the podcast of Merge.